and just let it sit and burn, as it goes to Mars. Whereas if a crewed vessel or something like that, you can send them up behind them, and then that crewed vessel doesn't have to carry near as much cargo because it's already being carried by this plasma thruster and that vehicle. And that makes it a lot easier on the chemical propulsion side of it because you don't have to carry as much, you don't have to produce that much extra force to get the manned spacecraft.
So correct me if I'm wrong. We can use the powering system for our lunar base that we're trying to build. We can use it for satellites that we want to launch. We could
not necessarily the same one, but the same theoretical concept, of what it's going to do for us. You can make modifications to the design, but it still, would do the same thing.
Okay. So sort of satellites. Could we use it for deep space exploration as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's another huge thing. If you're not wanting to stop, especially that's
awesome.
That's a very big thing. One of the I forgot which moon it was. My boss is gonna kill me. But anyway, it's one of the moons of one of the planets. I think it's a moon of Saturn. The one that's covered in ice. You'll have to excuse me.
Titan?
Someone's got to. Yeah, that's the one. One of the things that they're wanting to do is they're wanting to launch rovers to that. Or maybe it is Europa. Anyways, regardless, whichever.
This is why we have a chat room.
I know, I love it. I love it.
I'm sorry, man. If you've seen the amount of paperwork I've had to do.
No, I totally understand. No, go on. So it's an ice moon, right? A giant rock or thing of ice, right?
Yeah. So they're based. They're looking at that as a possible place for extraterrestrial life because of water, obviously. And what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to send a rover. Sorry, I'm reading the chat while I'm talking.
It's all good. So they want to send a rover, but we need to be able to power the vehicle, getting there, and then while it's there, right?
Exactly, because whether it's Jupiter or Saturn, that's a long ways to go. How
long would it take to get there? Do you know?
Oh, I have no idea. With current conventions, it takes like 3 months to get to Mars.
Yep, 3 months,
something like that.
2, and then 3 months back.
Yeah.
So it's probably several years to get to Saturn.
Yeah. So assuming that we're in the same part of the orbit, and they put enough forethought into it, which I'm sure somebody would. It could take a really long time, and over that whole time frame, if you have a propulsion system, that will definitely make up for the lack of initial thrust that a chemical propulsion system would be.
So basically what we've got here is the next generation power for our bases, our off-planet bases, be it on the moon or on Mars or wherever it's going to be, our off-planet power for our vehicles, be it a rover or some sort of deep space exploration system, possibly satellites, modified.
Ooh.
Possibly is my understanding. Maybe not. I assume maybe some people are worried about having it floating around the Earth. Is that why we're kind of saying a modified version for satellites, or is it just a totally different technology?
Yeah, I think that it bugs a lot of people because you look at because I shouldn't say this if I'm on air, but media, they tend to cover things that are not good in nature when it comes to like disasters and stuff like that.
Right.
Like when the satellite shot out of the sky, that was a big deal. And they hyped up, the fuel being everywhere and all that good stuff. When you have a nuclear satellite, that is kind of a worry. But the thing is that what they're wanting to do is they're not wanting to use it on satellites that I'm aware of that are in geosync orbit. They're wanting to have these on satellites that are going, way out.
Right.
There were prohibiting treaties, but I think they are actually in the process of being revoked.
Well, they have. If we're going to advance, a lot of people are scared of nuclear power. I'm actually a proponent of nuclear power. I think it's we got really scared of it for a while because I don't think two reasons. We didn't know what to do with the waste, and we still need to figure out what to do with the waste, at least for nuclear power plants here on Earth. I assume that the space vehicles kind of either recycle the waste or just all get self-contained, or I don't know what you do there.
We shoot it to Jupiter.
And the other reason is actually nuclear power is very efficient, very, very efficient. So yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, one of the things that people, they see like, Chernobyl and all that stuff, and it really freaks them out, as well it should, because that's very dangerous stuff. But the thing is it's a lot safer than you think, and the design factor, of the way that they're built, has a lot to do with it. I mean, if you look at a reactor here, or not here, but that's being implemented, the way that they work, the reactor itself has more or less a heartbeat and sustains itself. I mean, it literally, has a change in shape that simulates a heartbeat, more or less. Because, you're giving off heat, so the core expands. As it expands, the molecules get further away. So the reaction doesn't happen as fast. So as that happens, it cools down, so it shrinks. And then as it shrinks, the molecules get closer together, so the reaction happens faster. So, it's this continuating cycle that goes back and forth. So you never really have the problem of, it going overboard. I've been told that, I don't know if this is true or not, but it was just a joke that we had going around, is that the difference between a Soviet reactor and, an American reactor is that American reactors, when they're built, they're not meant to blow up, or they're not going to blow up when they break.
Ouch. Funny.
Well, actually, Chernobyl was a bad design, by the way.
Yeah, that was part of it. Like the Titanic, it would have gone down no matter what. It didn't have to hit the iceberg.
Sort of. I mean, there were a lot of screw-ups that happened there, and as Kat said in the chat room, there's just not people don't know the facts. We have media that likes to glom on to just the really hardcore, let's scare everyone.
The sensationalism.
So anyhow, I'm a proponent of nuclear power, and I think this is actually a fantastic idea to start doing this, especially to power our lunar colony, or base, I suppose, not really colony, or our lunar base, get some of these deep space exploration vehicles doing this, get it to Mars. This is really the future of space travel is based on what you're working on, in my humble opinion. And I just thought that was terribly interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Way to put me on the spot, but no, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I've got very little influence on what goes on. I'm just an innocent bystander.
Well, I mean the projects. I mean the projects. Not you specifically. I mean the projects that you're working on.
No, I do. I mean you, Adam, specifically.
All of space travel is dependent on you.
Don't screw up.
Too late. Too late.
That's it. I'm done tomorrow. I already signed off.
So Fox is asking, what happens if something's to a reactor? Will it explode in space? What are the ramifications of something like that?
That's the thing, is that reactors. When you say explode, nuclear reactors, as opposed to nuclear bombs, work completely different. If a core goes haywire, it actually, at least the way that it's designed, it won't blow up. It just gets to the point where it'll eventually burn itself out.
Like that.
Yes.
Ta-da!
Yeah, exactly. I was getting ready to say, I saw something go bye-bye.
That was awesome.
All right, Adam, this is, where can people go for more information on this? Is there a NASA site, or is there a NASA research area or anything they can look up?
There is, but you can't go there.
Yes, behind a firewall.
I tell you what, that was one of the creepiest things, is having to go to the library where people watch you everywhere you go. It's very nerve-wracking. But just check out NASA's website. I said NASA's website. NASA's website. And hit up Marshall or something like that. I'm not really sure if much of it is readily available on the internet, but search for it. It's out there. Just look for it. It's the internet. I mean, everything's on the internet, right?
Of course, absolutely. Yep.
But there's a lot of papers by a lot of people that work here, and good luck finding it, and happy hunting.
Awesome. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. This is, like I said, this is the type of technology that's going to move us forward. It's going to advance space travel. We need to start thinking about, the issues with space travel